Today we will be making eclairs, but the first step to make eclairs, you will need to make a choux pastry. To make that, you will need 1 cup of water, half a cup of butter, 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 4 to 5 eggs. I'm using 4 at the beginning. It will depend on how my consistency of the dough will be. In a medium saucepan, you're going to put your 1 cup of water, your half a cup of butter, it's going to be soundless. Okay, so you're going to put in your butter and then your sugar and your salt. You have your butter and sugar in your medium saucepan, and you're going to mix it until the sugar and butter are dissolved, and then you're going to bring it to a high heat so it can boil. Now, and you're going to remove it from the heat and mix it for a while, and you're going to add your flour all at once and quickly mix it. So this is the choux pastry, what it's going to look like. After you take it off the heat and add the flour, you're going to put it on a low to medium heat. You're going to keep mixing it for 2 to 3 minutes until it forms a ball. It's already in a ball, but it's just, this is going to help to keep its structure, the heat, and yeah. After mixing the choux pastry for 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to transfer the dough into a mixing bowl. And you're going to mix it with a mixer with the paddle attachments for about 4 minutes until it's at room temperature. After you mixed it for about 4 minutes, you're going to add the eggs one at a time. You want to make sure it's at room temperature and nothing hotter, because it's going to cook the eggs and then you're just going to have scrambled egg dough. So this is what the consistency of the dough should be like. It should fall into a ribbon and it shouldn't be too watery. So I preheated my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I lined 2 sheets with parchment paper. So right here I have a piping utensil, and I'm going to place my batter / dough into it, and we are going to pipe it into, you know, your average size eclairs. So, and you're going to space them 1 inch apart. So I piped all of the eclairs onto the baking sheets, and you're going to place them into the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. 1 sheet at a time, and I repeat, do not open the oven door. I know it's tempting, but do not. Because it will make the eclairs collapse and they're just going to be flat pieces of dough. So you're going to bake it at 375 for 30 to 35 minutes without opening the oven door. You are going to quickly open the door and make slits in the side of the eclair so the steam can escape and so there can be a hollow inside. And you're going to bake it for 5 more minutes and then let it cool off after you take them off. These are what my eclairs turned out to be. A little rough, but practice makes perfect. So yeah, and we're going to be making the custard filling soon. We're going to be making labels for our eclairs. So you're going to need some cacao butter, or you can use coconut oil, the tiniest amount though. So this will be where the white chocolate will be, and this is where the semi-sweet chocolate chips will be. And you're going to need some white chocolate chips. I'm using very little, and some semi-sweet or milk or dark, whatever you prefer. There's 2 methods to melting chocolate. There's a double boiler, so you put some water in the bottom of a pot, about like half a cup, and then a metal bowl on top of it, and that's where you're gonna melt. Then there's also this method where you just put everything in the pot and you melt it. You need to be very careful with chocolate because it burns very easily. So what I like to do, when it starts melting, I actually turn off the heat just to prevent the burning of chocolate. So this is the little labels we will be making. You just make a little silicone chocolate and you can shape it with a toothpick. And you're going to use white chocolate to make your little signature. I'm going to be doing the letters of each of the family members I will be giving these to. So now it's time to make the pastry cream. So you are going to need 2 cups of milk with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 4 egg yolks, 1/3 cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 1/2 cup of cold heavy whipping cream. I quartered this recipe because I will be making other creams. You are going to bring the milk and vanilla extract to a boil, and while that's boiling, you're going to whisk the sugar and egg yolk until it's a pale color. As soon as the vanilla and milk start to boil, you're going to turn off the heat. Now we are going to add in the flour and cornstarch into the egg mixture. You're going to mix that. And after that, you're going to temper the eggs and milk solution. So that means you're just going to slowly add in the milk mixture into the egg mixture so it won't cook the eggs. And you're going to mix that for about 5 to 7 minutes until it thickens. And you're going to put it in a clean bowl and set it over an ice bath to cool. And you're going to cover it with plastic wrap so that it touches the cream and refrigerate it. After the vanilla and milk mixture start to boil, turn off the heat and then put half of the vanilla and milk into the egg mixture and add in the cornstarch and flour. After mixing it, you're going to put in the egg mixture back into the vanilla and milk. And you're going to mix it and cook it over low to medium heat for 5 to 7 minutes until it thickens. Make the filling for the eclairs. You're going to need 1/2 cup of heavy cream and mix it until it creates a cream like stiff peaks in a chilled bowl. And then you are going to combine it carefully with the custard filling that we made previously. And you're just going to fold it in, and then I'll show you how to pipe it into the eclairs. So this is what your whipped cream should look like. You're going to mix the 1/2 cup into your custard mixture, but fold it in and try to keep in as much air as possible. This is what I'll be using to fill in the eclairs. It has a very tiny tip, and that's what you're going to want. So it's kind of like you're giving a shot, but you're going to inject it into one hole, fill it up until you think it's good, and then another hole on the other side, fill it up. You can even make 3 holes if you want. So to make your chocolate ganache, you're going to need some chocolate chips, which are already pre-melted, and a tablespoon of butter, and some heavy cream. You're gonna mix that, let it go to a simmer, not a boil, and make sure you don't burn your chocolate. And then you're going to add in some heavy cream, about a tablespoon, until you get the consistency that you like, the thickness, because this is what's going on the top of your eclair. It's what you're going to be dipping it into. So make sure it's not too thick or too runny. So here we have a filled eclair and our chocolate ganache. What you're going to do is face first, dip it into the ganache. You're gonna make sure everything's coated, or as much as you want to. You don't have to put a ganache, but it does make it look like an authentic eclair. And you can drizzle some white chocolate or just leave it like that. This is how my eclairs turned out. I just put the chocolate ganache on top and placed a little chocolate label. Bye, thank you for watching.